welcome to episode 45 of the Project Bag podcast. My name is Gemma and this is a hand dyeing, crochet, sewing, knitting, general blethering podcast from Kent in the United Kingdom. Welcome back if you are a returning viewer, and welcome if you are trying out the podcast for the first time. You will generally find fairly good humour and quite a lot of nonsense. So if that sounds like something for you, then pull up a chair, pour yourself a cuppa and settle in for a cosy crafty chat. On the show for you this week, I have a finished object, I have a second sock, we talk about what on earth has happened to my Whipboard, and I share with you the latest bandwagon / rabbit hole I have jumped on / fallen down. Hello and welcome. I am so pleased to be talking to you again so quickly after the last podcast, and thank you so much to everyone who was so kind in welcoming me back and being totally understanding that life in general has sort of been a bit mad, but I guess it has for all of us, hasn't it? My studio lights are at the yarn dispensary from when I was recording an interview with Anna Nikiforovich a while ago, as is my tripod. So you're on my swan stand, which is a little bit wobbly, and I couldn't actually get it to look anything other than my chest. So I've gone for up higher, but you're now looking down at me, so it's going to look a bit strange from our normal podcast format, but hey, better to have one than not have one? I don't know. Because my studio lights aren't here and it is the great British autumn, the light is sort of changing. It was glaring sunshine as I was setting up and now the clouds have come over. Autumn's my favourite time of year. I just love looking out of the windows and seeing all the trees changing colour, and I'm feeling super inspired. So I've got lots to share with you today. Okay, so no idea if Alice has drawn a winner for the Crack Those Whips MKAL yet, but the Great Festive Cast On is going with gusto. I will open a Ravelry thread for those of you who like to use Ravelry, and I will open a Facebook page. You cannot double dip across the two of them because I'm going to pull the whole lot together in order to draw prizes. The hashtag will be along the screen at the bottom. Can I just say, apologies for the shocking job I did of editing the last podcast. I kept going, there'll be a picture here, and then there wasn't. The hashtag will appear here. No, there wasn't. And I only realised this when I watched the last podcast back last night, which was slightly embarrassing. Also, my hands I've been dyeing yarn this week. So, yeah. Business as usual, basically. The Cozy Creatures Comforts Colourwork MKAL is also going. I don't know if any of you know about that, but I will share that with you shortly. And yeah, great. Follow all the links below. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. That is the best way to find out all the things about all of the things. But the festive cast on started on the 1st of October, and basically it's casting on anything wintry, festive-y, gifty that shows love to yourself or to someone else. It doesn't have to be Christmassy. And yeah, basically make all the things, that's how we roll, right? We like that here, making all the things. I think I might have to call this one the one with all the camera angles. Right, so without further ado, let me yawn into my finished object. I have finally got this absolute beast off the needles. This is the Vida Shawl, which was a mystery knit along by Cecelia Losada, Mama DIY Patterns, or Cecelia Losada Crochet. This is a knitting pattern. It took 2 skeins, or just under 2 skeins, of 2 different colours of my hand dyed yarn. So we've got Warning here, which was one of my autumn winter collection for 2019, and one of my signature collection, Auroraborealis, which does the lace and the feather and fan stuff. This was something I was determined to finish. I actually finished it just over a year after I started it. It felt really weird to have finished it. It feels, I don't know, like something's now missing from my life because I no longer have this to knit on. I'm going to yawn again. But anyway, it's beautiful. This is it unblocked, and I will eventually show it to you in its blocked beauty because I've got the feeling this is going to just block out and be ginormous and gorgeous. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with that. I have actually finished it. So let's move on to works in progress. I have, oh no, I've got another finished object. Look at this, hang on. Are you ready for this? Are you ready? I mean, the ends aren't woven in, but it's me. Are you ready? You ready? Look at that! Oh, it's got involved in my shawl. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Right, this here, and this is why I haven't woven the ends in, honest, is my brand new base, which is a kind of chain plied, it's basically like a massive I-cord, super duper chunky yarn, and it is so squishy. One giant hank of it, hand dyed, made this, which is, and it needs blocking, but it is a cowl. Hang on, there you go. And the idea, oh, look at the sunshine, it's like, finished object, admire. Sorry, I won't do that again. It's gonna have one big button here. You don't even need to make buttonholes, you just literally shove it through. I mean, look, I could get most of my hand through that. Hi. So yeah, one hank does this. I will be releasing four. I've got 4 more hanks. I'll be releasing limited edition kits. And it is so squishy and cozy, and the sun is just shining on it, and yeah, honestly, it's gorgeous. I mean, if you wanted, you could just do a loose cowl like that, or you could button it like that and just be like, it's so cozy for winter. It's so cozy and just squishy and lovely. So yeah, these kits will be in my next shop update, which I'm hoping will be at the start of November, but you know, never ever take anything I say as gospel. So this is my super duper chunky base. That's what I'm just going to call it, although it's been ruined certainly, but the term super duper has been ruined for me slightly by a certain someone who lives in a big white building saying that he has super duper missiles, so maybe I won't call it super duper, but anyway, it's super duper chunky. There it is. And yeah, I just love it. To knit this, I actually had to knit it on my lap, and I'm going to record a mini tutorial about it as well to show you how to do it. I used a size 10 needle to help me cast on, but that's only because I just needed the help to cast on. Then I had it on my knees and I just did it by hand. The kits will come with access to the tutorial video to show you how to do it. And this is definitely a base that I'm going to be having in the future. I'm thinking about designing hats, sweaters, all the things. I did this in under an hour from cast on to cast off. Yeah, and it's so squishy. Why is this better than the stuff that you get quite a lot for arm knitting and hand knitting? Simply put, because it is chain plied already. The stuff that lots of places are selling for arm knitting is actually just roving, so it's just like unprocessed fibre. No, it's processed fibre, but it's not spun in any way or stabilised, and so it will literally over time just fall apart, whereas this will not. So if you are looking for super duper chunky quick knits and crochets, gifts for people thinking of a certain thing that's coming up shortly, honestly, an hour. You could deck the whole family in this in a weekend and you'd be done for Christmas. Sorted. Brilliant. So now I've sorted your Christmas making and shopping out, there's more time for you to do what you want, right? So case in point, let's talk about whips. Oh no, I've got another finished object. Sorry, I forgot another one. Oh, my puppy has been playing with yarn and he's made me a yarn bath. Hang on. All right, this I'm counting as finished, even though it's not sewn up, but this is basically a cushion cover, and I'm going to write the pattern out and publish it as a free pattern. But what I've done is use 2 balls of, or skeins of Ericanite fur, which is a chunky yarn, and cast on a certain number of stitches, knit a load of garter stitch, folded it over. Vic's going to sew it together because Vic is amazing, and that's the advantage of being the boss. I can just hand all my sewing up to my employees. Hashtag bad boss. Anyway, yeah, so that's a cushion cover. And again, that took me an afternoon. Brilliant. 3 finished objects in one podcast, which is not bad considering I thought I only had 1 finished object. So that's pretty good going. I've actually, I think I've hit my Ravelry goal for things I wanted to make and finish this year. God, this lighting has just gone ridiculous, hasn't it? Ooh, sunshine. I don't know what to do. The sun is setting already. It is 2 o'clock in the afternoon on this lovely October afternoon, and I shouldn't fiddle with my stand because it's not a tripod. Oh look, we do finger puppets. It's a bunny rabbit, look, do you see? I've been quite ill this week. I ordered a Chinese and it's usually amazing, but this particular time I came down with a really bad case of food poisoning and I'm feeling a little bit delirious, in case you can't tell. Hello, puppy. Coming up. You coming to see me? Come on then. No? Are you going to go and sit on your chair over there? Come on then, puppy. So, no, this is nothing to do with what I want to talk to you about. Not right now, anyway. I'm going to go and transfer the file over to the computer and then I will be back and hopefully a bit more coherent and we'll move on to whips. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about the whip I am most excited about first. And it is this. The Slip Stravaganza Mystery Knit Along for Stephen West 2020. If you do not want to see it, look away now and I will put a timestamp when you can come back. All right, ready? Here it is. This is clue 1, not including the bonus clue that came out a few days after the first clue. I started this a week after everybody else. I wasn't going to do it. I have never done a Stephen West. I have never done a Stephen West mystery along. I have a hungry puppy who's about to start crying. Bear with me. Okay, the lighting here is ridiculous and I can't get on the sofa. There we are. So I am using my hand-dyed yarns, the Midnight Dyery, formerly known as the Project Bag. And this is one of my signature colourways, Myra. And I am striping Exotic and Song of the Sea together for clue 1. Now, it's so clever, just the way it's done. I wasn't going to do it, and I decided to do it when I saw Stephen West do his Instagram video revealing it. And as soon as I saw these honeycombs, I was like, I need to do it. I need to do it. I need it in my life. And my friend Veronique, who I've spoken about before, who is Verone's Bags, and she sells beautiful bags and now handmade yarn bowls as well on Etsy. She said, you've got to do it. You've got to do it. I was like, all right, okay, fine. And I said, well, I'll need help choosing yarn. Help me with my colours. Because although I dye yarn, I'm really nervous about actually putting colours together in a project. And basically, I'm no good with my own yarn. So I was at work and she popped in last Thursday and I was in a meeting with someone, that was it, a local councillor for the town council. And when I came out, I was just presented with an armful of my yarn that had been taken from the grid walls that had my yarn on it in the shop. And she was like, here you go, this is what you're doing. I'm like, all right then, fine, okay. So I thought, well, I have to run it past Vanessa because obviously this is stock that the shop owns now. And she was like, it's fine. I was like, okay, all right then. So I've started, and my contrast colour, my 4th contrast, is this. Now this is fuchsia, another one of my very early hand-dyed yarns, and I hand wound this last night. Let's put it in front of my face, it might actually focus. Come on. It's not going to focus. And you're going to hear the dog eating as well. It's not, it doesn't want to focus, but anyway, it's really, really pretty. I hand wound it last night and thoroughly enjoyed the process, and I can't wait to see how it knits up. But I've also been presented with, and you have to excuse the state of this ball because Magnus is quite fond of mohair, this, for something called the Mohair Dare, and I believe you put these two together and stripe them. Could be wrong. Anyway, I am absolutely loving this project, and Jules and I are going to cast on together remotely for the bonus clue, and hopefully I'll be on clue 2 later on today with any luck, fingers crossed. Keep trying to find a spot where the light's a bit more stable, and keep getting interrupted by the dog, who is currently crying because he wants to go out the front and I'm trying to discipline him to go out the back, and it's a battle. The struggle is real, folks. The struggle is real. Okay, I'm going to have to take him. So I think I'm going to have to call this one the one with all the camera angles. But yeah, carrying on with works in progress, I thought it was about time I brought back my Whipboard. And there's something a bit different about it. Oh, look, it's glowing. Ah. Here we go. It's nowhere near as full as it was. Nowhere near. And I've been through my craft room this morning, and the dog is now climbing the TV stand. Oh my God. Back in a sec. Okay, so we're back from an impromptu walk. The one with all the camera angles and the yawns. Oh, continues. As I have to try and get back on the sofa after my little furry co-host. Now, I can't remember where I was. I know I talked about the Stephen West mystery shawl, so we don't need to do that again. But I think I was showing you my Whipboard. And now I only have 26. Oh no, hang on, I've thought of another one. Okay, 27. I have 27 active whips at the moment, which is not many for me. I don't know at what point it stopped being 50 and started being under 30. I've finished quite a few things this year. I had, but then I've started a few things as well. So, I mean, some of the things I've finished, I've started and finished in the same year, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I don't really know how that happened. I've been right through my craft room and I've only come up with 27 now. 27, I found the 27th. So that's a bit weird. And then looking on Ravelry, I'm starting to add some more whips and putting what I'd finished. I set myself a target of finishing 20 things this year, and I think I finished 19 now. So yeah, I'm not really sure who I am. And to that end, my next whip I have to show you is actually a second sock. If you've been watching this podcast for any amount of time, you know that typically I take up to a year to knit a pair of socks because, I don't know, sometimes I just do. I knit one sock and then it's like, well, I know what that colourway is like now. I've done it. I've had my sock fix. But I'm on to the second sock. Now, talking about Veronique, Verone's bags, this is living in one of her bags. I absolutely love this fabric. It's gorgeous. It's a drawstring bag, but it's got a handy handle. And yeah, it's just perfect. I could fit a sweater in here, but at the moment it's holding all my sock whips and bits and bobs. So these are, and some chocolate. These are my Christmas sock collection. So I've got the second sock, there you go, proof. The second sock is on the needles. Please excuse my dye fingers. Yeah, but second sock is on the needles. I'm absolutely loving it. The reason I've stopped is because I can't remember how long I did the leg on the previous sock and it's at the shop. So until tomorrow, I won't know. But I mean, I could do a few more rows, but you know, I did a few and then I moved on. Then I've got Waiting, caked up. This is Hollyberry by West Yorkshire Spinners, which is really pretty. It's not my cup of tea, but I think it will be perfect for someone I love who likes socks, so that's good. I've also got my one and only cake of Sweet Georgia yarns. I absolutely love Sweet Georgia yarns. She's a Canada-based dyer. Tabitha Hedrick, who I've chatted with a few times and I'm very lucky to consider a friend, is the design director for Sweet Georgia. And I just love everything that she does. And this was sitting in the yarn dispensary, already caked up. So I've got no idea what it looked like in the skein. And was her sock base? I don't know. I've long lost the tag, but I've decided that this is going to be a pair of socks for my mum for Christmas because she loves blues and purples. And, you know, if there's anyone to give a truly special skein of yarn to, it's your mum, right? So, yeah, so I've got more of those. And then also on the list is, I don't know. Oh, it's here. Look, it's right in front of me. Again, West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply. This is Fairy Lights, which was last year's, I think it's Fairy Lights. Doesn't actually tell me. I'm going to yawn. Behind the yarn, you don't know what I'm doing. Magnus bought this one for me, I think. Yeah, there are teeth marks in the ball band, so I'm going to say Magnus bought this one. Now, this isn't repeated this year by West Yorkshire Spinners, but they have put glitter in it, so there's some sparkle. And we've got that coming into the yarn dispensary as well. For those of you who are new and don't know, as well as being an indie dyer and having my own hand-dyed yarn company and this podcast, I also run a local yarn store in Kent. Called the Yarn Dispensary. It's beautiful and I'm very, very lucky to be the custodian of it. So I'm the manager, and I still pinch myself when I realise that this is my job. You know, it is my job to run a yarn shop and it is my job to dye yarn. I mean, I'm lucky. I'm really lucky. Not many people get a second chance like this at a career, and I'm making the most of it, kids. But yeah, anyway, this is going to be another pair of socks. And then the other one I've got, and I don't know if it's here, no, is the Rum Paradise, which I showed you last week. So I've decided that socks need to happen. The Vanilla Along I mentioned last week, Alice, Dr. Sockstagram and I are going to host a Vanilla Along, because as well as making all the things, making lots of complicated things. I mean, I literally said last week that I just want vanilla knitting and I can't cope with anything else. And then since then I have cast on and finished clue 1 of the Stephen West Mystery Shawl. Now that could not be less vanilla if it tried. Oh well. Anyway, so that's living in my Verone's bags. That's another whip. Oh, speaking of, actually, this is also a bag by Verone's Bags. This one I fell in love with when it came into the shop because we stock her bags as well. The other one was a birthday present to me from me with a matching Notions pouch. And then this one, I don't do pink, but I've got 2 pink project bags from Veronique now. Okay, next thing to show you is my weekender. Not a lot of progress has happened on this one. This is the one that I was talking to you about last time, saying I'd cast on. Now, is this the resting stitch? No, these are the active stitches. I've got active stitches, and then on a cable, because I've got nowhere else to put them, I've got the resting stitches. So you can see I am a fair way up the armhole. I've only got about another 1.5 inches to do, and then I can do the armholes for the back. It is absolutely ginormous. Hello! But I love it and I can't wait to wear it. I don't know why I haven't knit on it yet this week. I think this might have to happen going forward. So is that it for whips? I think it is. Short and sweet again this week, the podcast. What have I been up to other than that? Well, been quite ill this last week. Got food poisoning. Hooray. And I've mostly been at home dyeing yarn, and I had a minor procedure at hospital last Friday, which is when I cast on my second signature sock. And yeah, I've basically not been at work since last Thursday, so that's a whole week now. It feels really weird, but I worked from home on Tuesday because my husband's car broke down. So there's been lots of working from home and resting, and being ill and then being better, and yeah, it's been a funny old month, October. I'm usually not there so much, but all the Perth sock blanks were shipped out as promised, and I'm just so thrilled that they had such a good reception, and also quite a few people seemed keen for me to do other sock blanks as well, so I'm definitely going to be looking into that. What have I been doing other than that? Well, I'm still watching all the things that Netflix has to offer. I finished Zumbo's Just Desserts, the second season. So that's it, no more Zumbo at the moment. And I just really enjoyed it. It was really joyous, but my God, some of the contestants are savage. I really seriously mean. Jules and I haven't watched a cake for ages because we've just been super busy. I am totally inspired by Julia and my lovely friend Amy, who are both doing masses of DIY at the moment, and it looks like I'm underwater with this light, this dappled light coming through from the trees. Apologies about that. So I have managed to find tiles for my kitchen floor, so I'm going to be redoing my kitchen. I've got everything I need for that now. I think I've got it's ever so cheap, but it's basically like sticky back worktop that you put over your existing worktop, because my worktop isn't solid wood or solid granite, it's that kind of compressed wood stuff that they then put like a coating over, and that's a bit tatty and I don't really like it. It was the previous owner's choice, so I found for about £25 this really nice wood effect that you can in theory stick on, and it basically covers the previous cover. I'm really glad I haven't done that yet, because when I was dyeing the sock blanks a few weeks ago, I decided to lay out tinfoil on my counter, because sock blanks you have to paint flat, you know, and it's not really been the weather for dyeing in the garden. So I covered it all with tinfoil and I was really pleased, and then I pulled the first load of tinfoil off after I'd done the first load. I thought I'll just change it for a fresh set, and my countertop is green. I don't know how. I think it just like seeped through the gaps or something where I had to layer bits of tinfoil over. Yeah, I'm really glad I haven't already sorted out my worktop. So I've got that, I've got tile paint, I've got paint for the cupboards. This light's really weird, but hey, you're in my living room with me hanging out. This is what it's like in real life. If you were to come around mine for a cup of tea, not that you can at the moment because pandemic, then this is what it would be. We'd be sat in my living room in the afternoon sun with a cuppa and interesting light. I wouldn't sit here and say, right, you sit over there with your cup of tea, let me just put my studio lights on and my makeup on, and you know, this is life. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, tile paint. So the kitchen renovation is going to go ahead soon, and I think once I've got my next shop update out the way, that's my last major shop update before Christmas, then I'm basically going to take time to knit all the things and to get on with the DIY jobs that... I don't know how people found time to do loads of DIY during lockdown. I didn't. I don't know what I was doing for the 3 months, but it wasn't that. And now everyone's got these projects ticked off, and I kind of haven't, and I'm squinting and I can't deal with the light. I think, hi, oh, that's a bit better. Hello. I think the sun is telling me it's time to go. So without any further ado, yeah, have a really crafty week. Take care. See you soon. Bye.